are tuned into my weekly talk radio TV show called Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced and get happy with Dr. Marissa. And this show is about hope and happiness. So there's no gossip, no scandal. Instead, I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. So I have shows and topics.
Sunday, Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days. Thursday, Friday, happy days.
Monday, Tuesday,
Happy days.
Wednesday, Thursday,
Happy days.
Friday, whatever.
Happy days.
What a day. Na-na-na, na-na-na.
I love you.
I love you too.
Best known as the mom from Happy Days, and she is a delightful 89-year young Marion Ross to my studio. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Dr. Marissa, this is such a treat for me.
Oh.
My goodness, you're a wonderment.
Which is exactly the kind of guest that I like. Those who have gone through life, good and bad, and then taken those experiences to alchemize them into the person they are now and doing good on the planet. I'd like you to welcome Corey Feldman.
If you're grateful for it and you say right away, thank you, God. Oh, my God, that's so beautiful. I'm so blessed. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Then guess what? More good things will come to you.
Does this sound familiar at all? She's back again to mark my Cancer Awareness and Prevention Month show. Please welcome Fran Drescher. Hi, Fran.
On and supporting cancer schmance. I really appreciate it.
So what would you say are some of the biggest myths, Fran, that people have about cancer?
Well, I would say that they think that there's a cure for it.
Okay.
Instead of a cause for it.
This is the first call-in show when I get to be Dr. Marissa, the kinder, gentler Dr. Laura. And people call in to get their life tires balanced and their critical thinking or their BS, their belief systems, smog checked. And today I am delighted to have Malie calling in from Birmingham, Alabama.
We could go 90 days and end up having terrible sex. And then you say, well, the relationship's not all about sex. Well, if I'm not getting great sex from you, then I'm going to get it from somebody else. Right?
That moose just got put on the table. And I see Josh and Jim.
I have to agree
You're
with Clyde.
both nodding. Ramon's sort of half nodding because his wife's listening. But
I understood what was going to happen if Muhammad Ali's youngest daughter, made public that I was going to become a boxer. So I wanted to make sure this was the path that I wanted to go down.
you are absolutely fabulous, beautiful inside and out. And I'm giving you Dr. Marissa's Beneficial Presence on the Planet Award today.
Thank you.
Just sit right back and you'll hear a tale of a fateful trip that started from this tropic point.
When I go, I'm gone.
Are you lonely?
No.
Nah, I knew that was going to be
But
the answer.
I surround myself with people. I mean, I'm always the one cooking for things. But I'm always the one that decorates first and come to my house. All the orphans that have no place.
I'm going to have no place to go, so I can come over.
Come on over.
And life is so amazing if we can see it.
Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You're tuned into Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC Sports Radio Station, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, Tiki Live, Rumble, Podchaser, Speaker, and more. I am Dr. Marissa, and I am so delighted to be here broadcasting to you for my 618th consecutive week. We forgot to change it. It is Monday this morning, and I am so glad that you are still here with me. They said that a show about hope and happiness would not survive, and I'm so glad that they were wrong. This is coming up now on 12 years in May, and I'm delighted that this is a show about hope and happiness, so there's no gossip, no scandal, no K-words, no Kanye talk at all. Instead, I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. And so I have topics and guests and special series to that end. If you've missed any of the 1,118 shows, but who's counting? Please do go and free subscribe to my YouTube channel, where you will get a plethora of topics and guests, as well as my red carpet playlist with interviews with Halle Berry, John Travolta, and more. And it is Monday. It is Mental Health Matters Mondays, a day where I don't have a particular guest, but I do have a topic, and I have a wonderful live love streaming capability here on this particular channel. If you're on my YouTube, and I have a longtime supporter who not only is the father of my Facebook godson, Sean, which means mountain. I don't even tell me how old he is now, because I remember when your wife was pregnant with him. So Timothy Taylor is his name, and happy Monday to you as well. So glad that you're streaming with me. You have the ability to not only watch and listen on my YouTube channel instead of just listening, but you can also make comments and ask questions and all of that good stuff. Give me hearts or give me the finger. Not that finger, but this finger. And we're going to start. Timothy, I would love you to participate in having breakfast with me this morning, which is taking a bite of my gratitude sandwich. We started this over a year ago now. It's a really good life habit that I want to have you do some weight training on to start each day, balancing out all the bad news that is so readily available to you every single day through other media outlets. But this one, I want you to focus on things that you see outside of yourself that you're grateful for, 8 things, and 8 things on the bottom of the bun, which is, what do I like about myself? And I'll start with first gratitude is for my sound engineer, Frank, in the back, who helps this show make it on the air and on camera, and he's just a really great support. So I'm grateful for him. He also takes a bite of the gratitude sandwich too. So go ahead and do that. Timothy, what are you grateful for? I know you're grateful for your son and your family and your wife. Did I remember you had a second child? Or I do have a photographic memory, but I am definitely out of disk space. So it's been a while since we touched base. So you update me on that. I am grateful for life. It's funny, you all know that I've started dating again after 7 years, and I'm not having a whole lot of positive luck on Tinder or Bumble. I'm the ratio is like I have to swipe left like 300 times before I swipe right. So someone mentioned elite singles. So I was filling that out this morning while I was in the gym doing the bike. And it asked a really good question. What am I passionate about? And I am grateful that I have had the experiences and the just the amazing achievements or accomplishments or the recognition that I've had in my life thus far, and I am passionate about what life has to offer. So I'm grateful that I have that passion. I have a passion for racing sailboats. I'm grateful that that season's about to start. First week in May again, my 33rd or 34th season on the water, and bringing underserved populations of kids to race and teach them how to race. What else am I grateful for? I'm grateful. Oh, good. Here we go. He's grateful for Sean, who is 5. Oh my gosh, you have twin daughters. Oh, that's even better than I could have asked or hoped for my my honorary social media godson. He's 5. And your daughters, Faylin and Maylin. I know that May means beautiful, and Lynn, tell me what the Lynn stands for, because every sound has 5 possible definitions. Fay, 1 means flying. Fay also means fat. I don't think that's what the Fay means, but you'll fill me in on that. So that completes our top of the fun gratitude. I'm so glad to have like-minded, love-hearted people who are always supporting me, like Timothy. That's the top of the bun. The bottom of the bun is gratitude turned inwards, what I call appreciation. What do you like about yourself? What do you like about you? And the reason why we do this is many of us who either grow up in a different culture that says the nail that stands up is hammered down, not a whole lot of incentive to toot your own horn or say that you're good at something. In fact, in Chinese culture, if you ask in the traditional way in the past, are you a good carpenter? The carpenter would say, oh, no, my work is just average. That was the way that you were mandated to talk about yourself. So the only issue or impact or consequence of not talking about yourself in positive ways is if you had messages that you were not all that, you're not good enough, you're not worthy, then you have a tendency as an adult to look to other people to define you or make you feel good. So when you get a compliment, you feel great. If you get an insult, you feel like crap. So this exercise in knowing what we are good at, what we do like about ourselves, is the fundamental, my BS, my belief system. It is the foundation of good mental health. So that's what I want you to practice. So what I do is, what is it about yourself on the bottom of the bun that you like about yourself? And I'm reminded my co-host Thursdays on Straight Talk, James Hawthorne, when I first brought him on, he did not like this part of the bun. He was uncomfortable, and now he is grateful and he appreciates the exercise. So hopefully you will adopt this as your good life habit, your blissipline, hashtag blissipline. Before you go to bed every night, you think about not what was wrong or what you've done wrong or what someone did wrong to you, but instead, what do you like about yourself? So I love my ability to be positive and optimistic. It is a blissipline. I have practices that keep me that way. So I appreciate that about myself. And I appreciate that 88% of the time I am happy. 88% of the time I am fabulous. 12% of the time I step in it, but most of the time I know who I am, whose I am, and that I am a beneficial presence on the planet. I appreciate that I am Chinese. I appreciate that I have Chinese roots. Wasn't always that way. I was made fun of a lot when I was a kid in Canada. Only Chinese kid in school, and that was not a good thing. So I've come full circle, and I really appreciate my diversity. And I love that that is also a part of my work in life. I appreciate that I'm funny. I have a great sense of humor. I appreciate, this is yes, our little Phelan is a chubby little baby, quite a good appetite. So maybe Faye is chubby. Chinese culture actually doesn't say you're fat necessarily. They'll say, oh, healthy. I remember when I was a kid, I used to be pinched and said, oh, healthy in Chinese. So I appreciate my willingness to learn something new all the time. I do love first times for pretty much everything. Marriage, divorce, first older daughter, first younger daughter. I do kid, but I do love my ability to appreciate new things. No fear, jump right in, sometimes step in it. All right. Timothy, do you have anything that you appreciate about yourself? I haven't seen, I think Frank's doing something in the background there, but I appreciate, I'll just close with, I appreciate my cutting myself some slack. I used to beat myself up quite a bit. I was my own worst enemy. No one was harder on me than myself. And I was a perfectionist, and now I'm a recovering perfectionist. And I appreciate that I know that I'm not perfect, and I don't try to be perfect. I try to be 88% great, but I don't try to be perfect anymore. So, all right, that is it for breakfast with me this morning on hashtag Mental Health Matters Mondays on Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, the station that leaves no listener behind. And we do have, I'm glad to have a passion in myself for movies and where they can take our imagination. That is great. And you know, sometimes I stick in a little Monday movie review. So it sounds like we can absolutely do that today, Timothy, while you're on the stream. What was the last really good movie that you saw that met this criteria? And I have also a passion for movies. I use movies, and I'm so glad we're back in theaters, because there's really nothing like that that big picture helping my imagination and creativity go wild. And I have a little plug for AMC. I have that movie pass, so I get up to 3 movies a week. So if I see 1.5 movies, I have well been paid for the $25 a month. And yeah, I'm going to hit them up for a free movie pass to give away. But I do love, I use it as my incentive to get things done that maybe I don't love doing. So when I do that, then I reward myself with a movie or a really productive, accomplishing week doing things that I like, preparing for a conversation with my tax accountant, which is today. So I did all that and rewarded myself with, what did I see last that I really enjoyed? I am looking forward to going to see Dune 2. Pretty Poor Little Things was a very controversial. I know my co-host on Fridays, Alon, did not like that. I actually enjoyed it because of the creative way that they looked at the misogynism that goes on in our society in the past, that still is a little, especially with the popularity of the potential president again, who I just don't understand how people can overlook his misogynism. But it's a great movie that demonstrates that men sometimes can, not all men, but in the past and our societal norms, they can dish it out, but they can't necessarily take it. So I won't do a spoiler on that. That was my last really great movie. Okay, so yes, it is. You're an A-lister too. Good. And Dune 2 was impressive. Okay, so that's on the docket this week. So I look forward to seeing that. All right, that's it for the movie review Monday. Let's jump into the topic. The topic today, and what I do as a happiness coach, I am a doctor, but not an MD doctor. So I'm not giving you medical advice. I'm also purposefully not a licensed psychologist because I don't necessarily agree with some of the process and the content that that is required to be a clinical psychologist. I'm an organizational psychologist. I do have a PhD in that. That looks at human dynamics at work, and that is my expertise. Human dynamics at home as well, because you're human all over. And as a result of that, I do have processes that help people get along better and certainly help get along with yourself, as well as being an effective leader. And one of the things is good interpersonal effective, good emotional intelligence, all of that, which allows me also to look at how you help and hurt yourself in your behaviors, your actions, and your BS, your belief systems. And I do have a #1 bestseller who keeps me busy and on the road. It's called 8 Ways to Happiness from Wherever You Are. And Mental Health Mondays, I give away for free the audiobook version. So if you would like a copy, please do go to drmarissa.life and fill in the form, and I'll get that for you in a promo code. All right. So the topic today is, I have to go back to when I wrote it so I remember. My daughter asked me today that was yesterday, how I deal with uncomfortable situations that are in the past, but still bring up angry feelings when you think about them, especially when you were done wrong and it wasn't your fault. #righteous indignation. It's simple but not easy, but thanks to, let me not do that. Let me set the stage, which is what I like to do at the first half of the show. And it's true that time heals all wounds, and time wounds all heals, pun intended. And at the same time, you can also hurt for the rest of your life, because if you continue to pick at a scab, it will never heal. So we're going to talk today about different kinds of things that continue to bring you unhappiness or pain in life that you suffer from. So on the back of the book, it says pain in life is mandatory, but suffering is optional. And when people come to me for happiness coaching, it is amazing to me sometimes that the choice is to suffer. Now, I'm not, obviously, it is how I can help. So it is one of the 8 ways, in 8 parts or 8 roles in my life. I have 8 jobs. That is one of the jobs, happiness coaching. And it is job security, I guess, if people continue to feel like suffering. But I would love it if people learned how to, and this is why I do the show, and this is why Mondays are Mental Health Matters Mondays, is I want 88 million more people in the next 8 years to be 88% happy. And suffering, choosing to suffer from what has happened to you in the past, or even yesterday, is not happiness making. And yet it is a habit that I have seen in a lot of people. and they don't all come to me, but I hear about it. I hear about it from friends. I hear about it from family. I'll hear about it when I'm in line waiting to pay at the cashier, where people will continuously pick up the rope of despair, the rope, the tug of war of angst, the tug of war of righteous indignation. My bonus dad will say that's the worst kind of resentment is righteous indignation, because you have a right to be indignant. Wrong was done to you, and therefore you will continue to be angry about it, be resentful about it. How dare they? That's the first. That's the first statement down a slippery slope of righteous indignation. How dare they do that to me? Okay, think of something right now that does cause you some suffering. Maybe not every day, but every time you think of it, and then you start thinking of it, and then you start talking about it, and then once you start talking about it, it grows bigger, and it gets bigger, and you might takes you to tears, takes you to bitterness, takes you to anger, takes you to depression, which is internalized anger, takes you to hostility, which sprays out and covers other areas of your life, taking it out on other people. So what is something, because we're going to actually practice today, and I'm going to give you some tools, some hashtag Happy 88 tools on how to heal from past hurts, past suffering of something that continues to burn at you. It was done wrong to you. So here's some things to sort of prime you, and I'm sorry. If you woke up this morning in a really good mood and you weren't thinking of it, but now I'm forcing you to, trust me, this is a practice. This is a discipline. It's a good life habit. And I'm going to give you some practical tools with which you can stop suffering from that event. Okay, so here's some common things that have happened to me and or clients. So names have been changed or will be changed to keep to protect the guilty. Okay, so one of the big things is that is it is because I am in the public, because I choose to do what I do, I get publicly insulted. Okay, so you're not all that. Who do you think you are? Okay, I'll get that. You're so full of yourself. I get that. I have some individuals come to mind who I hear about that are talking ill of me behind my back. Okay, so I don't know if this happens to you at all. I have a feeling that I'm human, you're human, you have similar experiences. A family member or a friend gets super mad at you and blocks you. Okay, you have a huge argument, words are said, can't unring a bell, and they hate you, you hate them, you have reason to hate them, they have reason to hate you, you don't talk anymore, and that is a source of a wound, okay? And every time you remember it, the scab is picked off and you start bleeding again and you're angry and you have all kinds of ways to ensure that you maintain the rightness of your point of view. So if someone will say, how come you're not friends with that person anymore, or what happened, you'll give, well, she did that or he did that, and I can't believe they did that, and how dare they did that, and da-da-da-da, and therefore, I'm never going to talk to them. I hate them, and they're out of my life. They're dead to me. Okay, so that is another scenario where it might be, difficult to heal from because you can't ever think of them in a positive way. Okay, maybe that happens to you, maybe not. I'm guessing that at least 7 out of 10 of us have an experience like that. And I'll have clients that say, it doesn't bother me anymore. They're out of my life, doesn't bother me anymore. Except that if they, hear a song on the radio or they come across something or whatever it is, they're back there. Or what happened to me is as soon as I started drinking, I'd be really happy. And then after whatever the 5th single malt scotch, I would begin to get sad and I would have that, memory. And then I'm calling my poor victim friends and complaining and whining and moaning and poor me and all of that. So that might be another thing that you're, not healing from. And that could be family member, friend, or husband, exes, former, the love of your life, whatever. That point of pain has not only either been shoved real deep or is constantly being a scab picked at, and it's a constant source of pain. Okay. Another example, being fired or laid off. You thought you gave your company everything that you had, and you were loyal, and boom, you're released, and that felt like a betrayal, felt like a loss, and it is something that every time you fill out a resume, it comes up as, I can't believe that I'm in this situation, or I cannot believe it. So you're bad mouthing whoever, the company or the boss or the whatever it is. Every time you even think about work, you remember that with pain. And it's very difficult to heal because, everybody works or is trying to work or getting a job. And that is also a source of pain. Physical pain. You're ill, you're chronically ill. I have a back that is going out more often than it ever has been. And so, it's hard to avoid physical pain. So it's hard to heal from physical pain when you're constantly focused on that pain. So that's another, something that you might want some healing from. Okay. Anything else? Frank, Timothy, I see eyeballs rolling in. Today is #MentalHealthMatters. Thanks for tuning in. This is Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa. And I'm doing happiness coaching on Mondays because I've been asked to do that and to help up level your happiness. So today's particular topic is, how do you heal from things that hurt you where you didn't do anything? I mean, that is really a special kind of healing because it hits the, what did I ever do to you? My worst example of this, which, I live my life out loud, and it's not one of my proudest moments, but there's an expression in a 12-step program that says you're only as thick as your secrets. And sometimes the shame that you feel from something that people don't know about, not that I need to let all 106,000 people who tune in to the show at some point or another, know this is my dirty laundry. But just as an example, you don't need to tell everybody, but it doesn't embarrass me anymore because I know that this is one of the 12% of the times when, for whatever reason, I can't make everybody happy. And I really ticked off one of my students. So some of you know, I'm a retired professor. I taught for 10 years, started at Boston University, ended at UCLA in the Anderson School. And one of my students, and I normally get really good evaluations. I have like a teaching style like Robin Williams in I always forget that what movie that is. Not Breakfast Club, but anyways, I had a student who said in his evaluation, I would rather chew glass than listen to Dr. Pay's lecture, to another one of Dr. Pay's lecture. And ooh, that really, really hurt because it was like, how can I have like 88-90% people who say the best professor they've ever had, blah, 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 and then really get that one person's hurtful evaluation. So how do you get over something like that? Like, I mean, that's like so, and there, social media is a great example of just some horrific things that are said. How do you heal from that? I didn't do anything to him except teach him and to the best of my ability. So those kinds of, I didn't do anything to you, but you are so mean. And that goes back to, I mentioned before, some of the childhood bullying that I got. All right, how do you heal from that? How do you heal from that? Dead Poet Society, thank you, Timothy. It was Dead Poet Society that I was talking about. You remember when the professor would get up on the table and teach? I wouldn't necessarily stand on my lectern, but I would like run up and down the steps to make sure that they were listening or make a point or challenge someone to go and teach the class. Anyways, that student that said that was the reason why I'm in media. He came up to me after class and said, "Your talents are being wasted. You should be in media in front of the camera. My dad's a producer. How would you be interested in doing some expert commentary?" And I'm like, oh, that's how I started. I think that was either Totally Out of Control People or the Fox, but that was ABC, Discovery Channel, or Fox's Busted on the Job, where they tried to get me to talk about why this guy peed in the company coffee pot. Okay, a little bit of Dr. Marissa trivia. Frank's like, what? Yeah, so I have to thank not the one that insulted me, but I digress. We're talking about today, and now we're moving into the solution. How do we heal from things that were said and done to us that we did not ask for or deserve, or we did nothing wrong to have that done to us? How do we heal from that and not continue to suffer from the pain of it, to suffer from the indignity of it, to suffer from the shame of it, to suffer from the anger or righteous indignation from it? All right, so here are some hashtag Happy 88 tools that will help you. And you know what? I'm going to segue for 1 second and do a little break. I'm not going to actually give you a commercial physically, but I am going to take a little moment to thank one of our sponsors today for giving us some free tickets. So here is the Saban schedule of the Saban Theater in Beverly Hills. Thanks to Dana, the manager of the Where Music Meets the Soul Productions. And in Beverly Hills, we are having, at the end of this month, and I've been given permission to give away 8 pairs of tickets. So today, first March show that I'm doing, we're going to give away a pair of tickets to Wayne Newton, Up Close and Personal, 65 years and counting. Timothy, I don't know if you remember who Wayne Newton is. I'm hashtag ageless, so I can't necessarily admit to it, but I was so delighted to hear this guy is He's on the Mount Rushmore of entertainers, a living legend, record-setting performer. He is doing a show. He's known for his iconic signature song, Dankeschön, in addition to countless other top hit singles, including Daddy, Don't You Walk So Fast, Red Roses for a Blue Lady, At This Moment, The Letter, Summer Wind, and Years. He's currently headlining at the Flamingo, Las Vegas. Wayne Newton has performed over 30,000 live shows, 30,000 live shows in Las Vegas for over 40 million people across 6 decades. Dang, that's impressive. He's been named as one of the top 3 entertainers of the century in Nevada and around, along with Frank Sinatra and Elvis Presley. Wow, I had no idea. I've heard that name, Wayne Newton. I haven't heard him. Look forward to going to see him. March 29th is the show, end of this month. Doors open at 6. I think I'm getting $99 tickets to give away. And this is on Friday, 6 p.m. And headliner is, I believe, at 8. Yes, it is at 8. So first person to go to drmarissa.life. And it's easy as putting in, asking my assistant Google, if you put in Dr. Marissa or Asian Oprah, you will find me right away, which is so nice. You can either join my happy family and put your email there, and I'll know today if you do that, or you can go and scroll to the bottom and just fill this out on the contact. So you can say Wayne Newton, and I'll know that is why. I am going to send you a promo code, or I'll have your name at the box office on will call. All right, I'll be there too. You can meet me on the carpet, but that is the sponsor announcement for the day, a pair of Asian Oprah giveaway tickets to Wayne Newton. And by the way, if you think that I named myself, I did not. I was actually introduced to Oprah as the Asian Oprah by Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith, who wrote the foreword to this book, and it was a wonderful experience. All right, let's see. As you do for so many others and listen to others, hopefully fans can also be able to give to you and listen as well, as those who give so much also need to be nourished and receive sustenance as well. Thank you so much, Timothy. He puts his support where his money is, and does give me stars and birthday fundraisers. If you do go to my website that I was just on, you can see there's a way to support me too. If you don't want to do it through social media, just go to the top and it says I have a 501c, and you can just donate there. All right. Thanks so much, Timothy, for that commercial for me. All right. Tools. How do we get to healing from hurts that we did not deserve? That righteous indignation. So the first one is the hashtag art of neglect. Actually, that's not the first one. Let's do the first one. The first one, the fundamental one. You will do that work in this book if you get it, and if you get the free promo code today, I'm giving away the audiobook. It is called Growing Your Balance-Centered Self. So one of the things that happens when someone does something to you that hurts is you will keep that alive with someone inside called the critic. And the critic, everybody has a critic. I've only met one person in my entire life who says they do not have a voice that says, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't have done that, you shouldn't do that, they don't like you, you have to do better, you're not all that. That voice, that persona is a part of us that is part coping device. It's not all bad thing. People who say, I know of coaches and therapists who say, kill your critic or kill the beach, right? No, because that is actually a part of us. We all have a part of us that is a critic, and honestly, we have to thank the critic for keeping us alive. That's the voice that keeps us from, dashing into the middle of the street and getting run over. It's the voice that keeps us from burning our hands all the time, touching hot surfaces. So the opposite of critic, not the opposite, the flip side of critic is the protector. So it's important that we have that critical voice, but it's so important not to see ourselves only through the critic's eyes. So we want to make friends with our critic and remove them from the primary role or the driver of our life car, which often a lot of successful people get to midlife and they come to me and say, I'm crying all the time. I can't get out of bed. I think I'm not a good person. I've lost my confidence. So that tells me your critic has now taken over your life, and it has too much power. And so that also tells me it's time for you to learn how to soothe your critic out of the out of the driver's seat into the passenger seat, and really know who you are at the core of who you are. And that person is called the balance-centered you. So the balance-centered you has a critical nature. It has helped you, but you are not the critic. Just like you're not the diagnosis when you have an illness, that you're not that you are a person who experiences depression. You are not fundamentally a depressed person. People define themselves in these very small things that are happening to them, and you forget who you really are. And all of us are one of a kind, wonderful. We have unique talent, gifts, and ability. We're connected to life with a big L. We all breathe. We are part of an energy that is beautiful in life. And so that is who we really are. And that is balance-centered you. So the first part of healing is to recognize that the voice that keeps all of this stuff alive is not who we are fundamentally. And when we own the power of who we are, then we can go look at the words, okay? And then we can soothe ourselves out of the pain, okay? So that's fundamentally the first and most important step. And that work is not easy, because if you have grown up without some awareness or self I that asks yourself, am I happy? Who am I? Am I a good person? That kind of self-reflection has not necessarily been top 3 things that we grow up learning that are important. We grow up learning that we have to get good grades, we have to listen to our parents, we have to find our soulmate, we have to collect material things, we have to work hard. We were taught that, but to know and understand who you are at the core of who you are, and that you're not a piece of crap, that you are worthy, that you are loved, lovable, and loving, that's not necessarily something we grow up learning how to do. So that's why we do Mental Health Matters Mondays. I credit my honorable moniker, Oprah, for bringing the attention of self-development, of spirituality, of self-awareness, of self-care, all of that into the mainstream. I do credit her with that. So that's the work that we do. When you begin to see yourself as loving, lovable, and loved, as worthy, then you can also put things like insults and hurtful things that other people do to you in a perspective that will help you not suffer. Okay, so that's the first thing. So if you've never done that work before, the very easiest way to do it is to pick up 8 Ways to Happiness from wherever you are. You can at a very major bookstore. I do book signings here on a quarterly basis in California. You can get it from my website, and you can get it free today, an audiobook version, if you go to my website and just put in Mental Health Matters or Happiness. Okay, so that's the work. That's why I put this book out, is to help 88 million people be happier doing this kind of work. All right, doesn't need to take you 10 years. And unlike traditional therapy, that does continue sometimes to pick at the scab. All right, and continue to talk about what was done to you and continue to blame other people. It keeps that alive, which brings us to the second tool, which is called the art of neglect. The art of neglect. Now, neglect has a negative connotation because usually when we talk about neglect, we talk about kids being neglected by parents, starvation, not enough attention. That is not the kind of neglect that I'm talking about. I am talking about neglect as a strategy for your pain. So I'm not saying, ignore it or pretend it doesn't exist. That is not neglect. You have to address your pain in that initial dive deep, one last time, look at the pain. Don't be afraid that that black hole that's in front. Everybody I know knows what I mean when I say it. Not everybody, but most of you know about the black hole in front of you. You don't want to go in there because you think you're going to be like Humpty Dumpty, break apart into a million pieces and never heal again. That is not true. All right, you do though have to go in one time. So lovely to see you. John Carter is in the house. He's the one who gave me this beautiful and my very first Lifetime Achievement Award from the OSD, and I'm so glad that you're here. We all have a board of directors in our head. If you have critics on your board of directors who do not love you, fire them. Great analogy for sure. But keep them, don't kill them. You can fire them, but don't kill them. So when you neglect, and I mean this, it requires some discipline. It is not easy to remember something and then not be tempted to go back. And when it gains momentum, this is the law of attraction, which is like the law of gravity. It's not personal. But when you focus on something and give attention to it and give time and space to it and give energy to it and then start talking about it after you're thinking about it, and then you pick up the phone to talk to someone else about it or a therapist, you bring more attention to it and it grows bigger. That is how we keep pain alive and suffering alive with respect to that thing. So neglect requires a very strong focus from a balanced-centered self to say, oh, it looks like we want to go there, but we really don't want to go there because we've already treated with penicillin, with a vaccination, with talcum powder or whatever, antibiotic cream. We've already done everything we can to heal that wound, and now revisiting it with nothing new is not a good practice. It's not what I want to do with my time and my focus. There are so many other things that I can turn my focus onto that make me feel better. The only caveat to that is if new information comes or new something arises that gives you a chance to go into one more level of healing. Because pain and healing is not like this. It is not a smooth line upwards. It is more like this, but you are spiraling up. Okay? You may have to come back to it, but it is not in the same way. You're going to treat it with a different level prescription or whatever. When one antibiotic isn't working, we try something else. So the healing is not linear. It is, a process. But if it's the same thing you're going to go to and get to the same place of feeling sorry for yourself, don't go there. Well, it's not that easy. Actually, yeah, it's not that easy. It requires the discipline of not picking up the phone, of not sitting and eating and thinking about it, or drinking and thinking about it. It requires you to go, I'm going to think about something else. I'm going to do something else. Sometimes when I start going there, I will physically get up and do something else. And the good thing is I'm very easily distracted. This is the gender difference, not all women, but they show that the processing styles of most women is different than most men. And we are able to do more than one thing at once. The downside is we do a lot and we're easily distracted. Men, on the other hand, single focus orientation, not all men, but the good news is they can get one thing, laser focused and done. The bad news is it's very difficult to put other things in front of them. This is a gender difference, not a stereotype. They've done studies on this, but I digress. So for me, though, it is easier for me to distract myself with something else to focus on that doesn't take me down into suffering. So maybe for men, most men, not all men, okay, if you do find yourself drawn to pull into that place of they hurt me, they broke my heart, they betrayed my trust, all of that, and if you have, that tendency to want to focus on that thing, it might be that it takes a little more discipline to focus somewhere else. But the principle is, one, it's an art to neglect something that doesn't feel good. And that's the whole question to ask is, and I get this, credit goes to Abraham Hicks, Law of Attraction. What is the best feeling thought? Oh my gosh, look at the time. What is the best feeling thought that I could have? That's the tool. That's the Happy 88 tool. So hopefully you have gained a little bit of practical tools that you can use, my Happy 88 tools, to up-level your happiness, specifically in those things that you didn't do anything wrong, but somebody made you suffer. You think they made you suffer. They're not making you suffer. They did it, they violated, but you are the boss of if you suffer from it anymore. And that is it today for Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. The station that leaves no listener behind. So glad that you could join me. Thank you so much, Timothy and Dr. John. We will see you tomorrow on this show about hope and happiness and balance. Peace in, peace out. World peace through inner peace. Now go and have the best day ever. We'll see you tomorrow.